Welcome back, everybody, to Comic Shop Talk on the Late Night Chat Network, your first stop for pop culture talk. I'm your host, Niko, and joining me today, as always, my co-host, Chris. How's it going?
Hey, not too bad. How are you?
I'm good. Ready to talk another week of comics here with you. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, everybody. Make sure to hit that like button, that thumbs up. Hit us up in the comments, and you can always check out some of the older videos in our playlist. I've started getting a bit better about listing all of the comics that we read each week when these videos are posted. So I think I've got about 2 or 3 months worth, like going all the way back 2 or 3 months. So I'm going to try to have the whole thing updated for you guys. So if there's ever any comics you want to hear us talk about, you can check those out. Also, if you kind of are just looking for new recommendations, a good kind of way of seeing just like a snapshot of like all of the best comics that we had talked about in a single year, because we've been doing this going on I think like 3 years or 4 years, I guess now, Chris. Yeah, so wow, flies, right? This will be, I think, the 4th annual Comic Shop Talk Awards, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe I'm off by a year. I don't know, but I mean, we're looking at 200 episodes. There's how many weeks in a year? Yeah, I think we're going in the 4th year. So we do, at the end of every year, we've done these Comic Shop Talk Awards, and that's also in the playlist. If you go back, if you scroll through for Comic Shop Talk, that's me and Chris kind of talking about all of our favorite things. We give out like different awards for different things, favorite this type of book, favorite this type of book, like favorite cover. So if you guys kind of just want to like see some new recommendations for things you may have missed out on in years previous, you can always check those out as well. So just figured I should start reminding folks that are maybe new to this show, some of the other stuff we've done. So there's all kinds of stuff in that playlist. Take a look. Today we're going to be talking about the new comics that came out for the week of August 6th, 2025. And spoiler warning, as always, be forewarned, we are going to be talking about what happens in the books, showing off some of the art. And just in case you're worried, you can always read your books and then come back. All right, Chris.
All right, let's talk comics.
Talk some comics. Cheers. Got a little bit of seltzer first that I'm finishing off, and then I got a beer right next to me here. So I'm good to go. All right. First up on the docket here today, the conclusion of Daredevil Cold Day in Hell #3. And look, Chris finally got
something to report. I have some comics here.
After weeks of the Marvel drought, Chris is up in the mix. There you go.
There we go.
All right, Chris. What'd you think?
To get the good ones, because this was a good one. This is a banger. I've been enjoying this whole series.
Yeah,
it's a crazy world that they're living in, and this one just got crazier. Like I don't even know how it could have got crazier, but somehow it does. There's a lot of these scenes there. I guess Daredevil, his powers seem to be fading in and out, and I think he was under the impression that it'd be just kind of being phased out, like more like a dimmer switch, but it seems just be more like an on and off switch. And then when he loses powers, he would just go dark, and it would kind of last for a few seconds, few minutes, who knows, and then they kind of kick back in. So that was something to see. And I think they almost started the story out with a bit of message of hope there. It's like, for the first time in how long, everybody's been looking at the ground, and now they've been looking up to the skies to see what's going on, because Daredevil was kind of swinging around with his billy club. And then it goes to what's that, Bullseye's, and whatever he's up to. And I'm not sure what he is up to. He's got his little crew there, and he's planning his one last hurrah. He's got those vats of some sort of gas that he wants to unleash on the city. And basically, I think he's just trying to draw out Daredevil for one final conflict. And, for reasons unknown at the time, like he almost pulls down Punisher off the wall and just throws him on the ground. I guess, Bullseye might be aware that he might not be coming back from this battle. And he goes, I'm just going to set you free. And then he sends one of his goons in there, like, okay, just finish him off. And, of course, you think Frank Castle, even with no arms and no legs, he's no pushover still.
No, he crawls right up into that mech suit and fucking starts operating it and killing all of them. And it's great.
And then I guess Bullseye, he's got the shake, so he's drinking some sort of cocktail there, and I think his boys are telling him, hey, boss, I don't know if you want to be doing so much, and he just keeps on downing it to get rid of the shake. So he's, I guess he's back in business. And, it comes to the big fight, and they have a throwdown, and Of course, I thought the battle was well done. You know, you could follow the action easily, and you can kind of get all the talking points. You know, like I had no idea why Bullseye had all those. You know, I thought they were like acupuncture pins in him or something. But
Yes.
he's just taking those out and he's throwing them around like crazy. But it seems that
I think it's to help
Daredevil
him
gets
move. I think it's to like help him move, honestly. Like, cause like I don't know, like I think his body's so wrecked that I think it was some sort of like that's what I got from it. I thought those were things to actually help him.
maybe it's like acupuncture stuff, like medicinal things. You know, and now he's
Yeah.
just going out there. Then of course, you know, Frank he escapes his whatever prison he was in with that little girl.
Yes.
And for the battle there, I know Daredevil ends up pretty much wiping out what's his name, Bullseye. And I think Frank Castle was gonna kill him or something. And here, does he kill Frank Castle here? Or is he just putting him to sleep?
No, he gets killed here. Yeah, so Frank Castle gets killed. But then the most interesting about all of this is when he actually comes and confronts Bullseye about this and gets thrown his way and bites off his nose and whatever else the hell he does to it with no arms and no legs. There's like we were talking about this the other day, previous to this, is that he killed there's like a small short flashback of him killing Kingpin. So like it actually it kind of showed you that Punisher would have been like was the one that killed Kingpin, I guess, prior to this, and Daredevil was unable to stop him, and he ended up, I guess, killing him previous to like the way this whole world went and everything that happened to them, right? Which I thought was very interesting, how they literally only gave us that little small moment that kind of alluded to the fact that he was like, you know, that he actually finally off the Kingpin, right? So I thought that was, they didn't need to do that, honestly, but it's true. If you're gonna see Daredevil, you're gonna see Punisher, you're gonna see fucking Bullseye, but you never get a reference of Kingpin in this comic, right? That's why I was like, that's great that they included that part, honestly. Like, so that was good stuff.
Yeah. I still think it's odd that the Daredevil kills Punisher for trying to kill what's his name? Bullseye.
Right.
Like that seems odd. But anyway, I guess, you know, Punisher's killing him in cold blood and he's the hero. But anyways, you know, you think Bullseye's done, he's still got his tooth there, and he spits his tooth out like some freaking camera and sets off the bombs. And then, you know, then the world goes dark. And then I guess, you know, that girl with her light power, she sort of illuminates everybody. And it kind of leaves at the end, you know, a bit of a funny area. And it doesn't really explain much. But, you know, I was happy with the whole story. I was like, there's nothing bad to say about this. I was happy with the art, happy with the story, happy with the action, happy with the characters. Nothing bad to say about this at all.
I was just looking over the art though with that scene though. You posed a good question about why did he basically grab him and keep? It's because he kept saying no there. I guess he was like, no more killing from you. That's enough. Like, I don't know, because maybe that's why they showed that flashback, because it looks like he said no when it came to him killing the Kingpin and he wasn't able to stop him. And obviously Daredevil has always had this relationship with Frank Castle, which he doesn't ever approve of the way that he deals with things. So maybe that's why he was kind of like, that's enough. Like basically putting him to like,
not a good chance to look at him.
I think it's like more so putting him out of his misery, though. You know what? I actually didn't really give that much thought, so I'm glad you brought it up. That's kind of what I guess that's what I take from it, because why would they show? I couldn't get over the fact that they showed us that the Kingpin thing. I didn't even realize that it was actually him that killed him until you mentioned it, actually, Chris. That actually went over my head while reading this clearly, but maybe that's why. It seems like he almost just put him out of his misery. He's like, that's enough. Like you killed all these fucking people. Like, I don't know. You're right, though. Why do that when he was basically trying to like help him out, it seemed like, here against Bullseye? But I mean, they all had a death wish here in this comic, right? Like even Daredevil at the end there, he pulls that like rebar or whatever the hell is in his stomach out of it's like a jagged piece he pulls out of his side, and he's like, "Yep, no doctor can fix that." Like, he even says it. He's just like, "That's it for me." He's like, I like that this is a definitive end, but at the same time they leave some things up in the air, like you said. Like, we don't know what happened with that girl, we don't know about the gas, like what the effects of that were. I loved this. This was excellent. This is one of the best miniseries. Honestly, I'm gonna say it right now. I'll put it out there. We just talked about the Comic Shop Talk Awards earlier this episode. This is definitely, I think, at this point, the best miniseries in the running for the year. I'm gonna have to review everything we've read, but it's gonna be hard to beat this 3-issue miniseries for me, just between art and story and everything else. I think this is, if not number one at this point, it's in the running. It's in contention for the
definitely
best.
in the running.
Yeah, I would have to review what else we've read. So, but I don't want to jump ahead too far in that sense, but because we read a lot here, but this was excellent. And I mean, you're getting detailed Steve McNiven art in like 20 panels on a page for some whatever reason. This is the closest we're ever going to get to like a Frank Miller-esque type of Daredevil return. I feel like this kind of felt very much in that world. Great stuff. Yeah, I agree with everything you said. It was really good. That when he pulls this thing out of his gut at the end, I'm like, oh my god, like, just brutal. Like, what is that? It looks like rebar. It looks like one of those like metal rods, right? So I'm just like, yeah, no, that's it for him. And then this whole side story of this girl with the powers, that was kind of like, I wasn't expecting something like that in this story, but overall, I think it worked well still. So. Yeah, I can see it. And he just dies.
Yeah.
What'd you give this?
Yeah, good stuff. 4.5. The series easy 4.5.
5. Right out the gate. 5. I have nothing to complain about this. This was excellent. I think the ending stuck the landing. I give the miniseries a 5, and I give this issue a 5. I think the only one I didn't give that to was maybe the one in the middle, but the way this ended, it might be a bit of hyperbole on my part, but I don't care. Fucking 5 all day. Good stuff. One World Under Doom number 6, Chris.
I think this One World Under Doom is picking up some speed here. This cover here. I think I might have ordered the J. Scott Campbell cover, but I don't know. Who knows? It's still a good cover. I don't mind this one at all.
Oh, I like that cover, yeah.
And in this issue here, it looks like Mr. Fantastic challenges Dr. Doom to basically a debate as to who's the best, with the fate of the world, hanging in the balance. And there's also some covert team that's still trying to break through the mystical barriers around Latveria. And I've been kind of the way they've been writing this, they've almost been making Doom to be a good guy. You're just waiting for that shoe to drop. And every time you think it's going to drop, he comes up with another story as to, why he's a good guy and why he's like, he's a benevolent dictator and he's a stand-up guy. And even in this one here, while they're talking, while they're sort of arguing back and forth, Reed thinks he's dropping, his truth bomb on him. And then Dr. Doom just comes back and goes, look at this. Wakanda, they've been holding back, all their vibranium. They haven't shared that with the world. The mutants, they're cured to death. They didn't share that with anybody. There's a whole bunch of instances. He goes, Hank Pym, he could have cured world hunger. Storm, she could have, stopped the droughts. These people here, all have the power to save the world, and none of them done nothing. Or I think it is with Iron Man, like in that blurred the other page he just had. He just goes through sort of example after example of how all these Earth's heroes have failed to them, or has failed the world, and why it's almost in the hero's best interest not to share their inventions with the world and keep it for themselves. And then he kind of turns his focus onto Mr. Fantastic and goes, you say you're the smartest man in the world. He goes, what are the studies you've done? Where are these inventions you put out? You keep them for yourself.
Yeah.
And all that sort of stuff. And then you start going, well, Doom's got a point. He's spitting some truth here.
Yeah.
And then you have that little strike team breaking into Latveria, and they find sort of the truth about Doom's power. Mm-hmm. And it's like, woo, a little bit of Matrix vibe in there or something. But it seems all the people of his country, so these are his own countrymen, and he has them all basically, like, I don't know what you want to call it, but psychically shackled or something, and kind of sucking out their life force.
He's siphoning
power. Magic.
Yeah, he's siphoning power off of them. He's basically using them almost like a human battery of some sort to draw energy from or whatever the fuck he's doing. I don't know,
Yeah,
but
and then even Doom starts to try and spin that tale too. He goes, "Oh, they all volunteered for this. These are the heroes of the world. This is the ultimate sacrifice." And everybody's like, "There's kids in there. They can't be doing this."
yeah,
And then it cuts to the end. Our
right
Doom
there.
cuts the broadcast, and you can kind of see the faces of the masses. Seem to be in shock. So I thought this was a great story.
Yeah, I agree, and I think you hit the nail on the head with what you said about like the way he's written this. It's like not everything's black and white. Like there's so many great instances of him kind of throwing it back in their face, and I like how they're making you think about these things. Like they're making you trying to sell you almost on Doom as a character and his motivation as to why he's doing things and how he's doing them and whether or not he's right in the right or in the wrong. I think that's really good storytelling because you as a reader, you're kind of like, everything I know about this character, I feel like I should be against this guy right now, but yet he's bringing up great points against why, like that Reed one, like you mentioned, that hit me. I was like, whoa, he's not wrong. I mean, it's true.
Yeah,
Like everything's branded Fantastic Four, this and that, and he's creating all these great inventions, but they're for himself. It's not really the betterment of the world that he's serving, and Doom is like that's all he's trying to say he's doing.
yeah.
But then, like you said, we all knew eventually the shoe was gonna shoe was gonna drop there with this reveal that happened in this comic. But honestly, I'm at the point with this series where if they next issue came out and they're like, well, this isn't what it really seemed either, I'd be like, all right, like, what I mean? Like, I guess not. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just a sucker, I guess, in terms of getting swayed by my whatever they're telling me is happening here. Because it's true. At this point, even I was expecting something to happen by the end of this issue, but I think we're 2/3 of the way through the series. We're 6 issues out of 9.
Yeah.
I think you're right. This is going to be the last third of it is going to be now reeling him
Yeah,
back.
the revolt or whatever, the
Yeah.
final battle.
Yeah, because we've had a lot of time where he seemed like the good guy up to this point, but good stuff. This is actually a really solid event, and I don't say that very often about events. So there you go. I think that this is, I know we were talking about Imperial. I forgot about this event that was going on when we were talking about Imperial last time because it feels like this has been it has been going on a long time. Imperial.
I just find that, like the only thing I got to say bad, it's not bad about the comic, but you can't be running these freaking giant events, 2, 3 of them running at the same time, especially when you're trying to make them all so big. Like this one World Ender Doom, it's sort of invaded the whole Marvel 616.
Yeah.
And and a lot of it is just fluff that really doesn't have anything to do with the story. But this main run, I don't mind.
You know what though? Between this and Imperial, some pretty good events going on right now in Marvel. I gotta say, like, which again, I don't say very often. Like, I feel like last year, like it was tough when we gave out our Comic Shop Talk Award for best event because I think I gave it to like whatever that Spider-Man one was. Which
Dark Web.
Yeah, everyone hated it.
But it wasn't Gang War, I'll say that much.
It wasn't Gang War, no, but that was I think I gave it to that or something. But this is actually between this and Imperial, there's been some good ones lately. So I will say that. So what'd you give this?
No, I give this a 4.
Same, yeah, 4 to 5. All right, next up we got Captain America 2.
Let's see here. Yeah, is that the A cover? Is that the
Zdarsky? This is the
Zdarsky cover.
Yeah,
I might have that sitting on the pull list somewhere, but we'll see. I'll find out next week on that. But as for Captain America, I don't know. I think I might be reading this like this is an Elseworld comic. I think this can't be happening in the real world or in the real 616.
I
don't know, but otherwise, the story's okay. It's just this whole timeline stuff is kind of really throwing me for a loop, where he's kind of talking that he's just coming back when he really should have been back for like 30, 40 years already, and this new Captain America, I guess he used to be a bit colder, a little bit harsher, more of a toe the line sort of guy. And I guess they're attacking Latveria here as well. And I guess, well, whatever. I don't know. They're battling, there's a lot of back and forth between these two captains on how they should proceed. They're supposed to be going in there for a quick extraction. I guess they meet up with some rebel team, and the newer Captain America is screw these rebels. We just gotta do our mission, go inside, get the hostages and get out like planned. And then, that rebels thing, oh, now that we got you guys here, we can, we have a chance to really turn the tides here. Then Captain America's thinking, oh, maybe this is my chance to make up for, his mistakes, I guess, in World War II, and he never got the chance to finish the story there. And then I guess while they're fighting, or while the one team is moving for the extraction, the Captain America goes with the rebels to, I guess they have Doom sort of on a schedule where he's going to be alone in his room eating dinner. And I think one of the rebels is basically about to assassinate him, like just with a sniper rifle. And then Captain America kind of puts a stop to that. He goes, oh, you can't kill this guy in cold blood. And they had some Doom bot they reprogrammed, and I guess that was more of a spy bot, and it zaps them, and you think Captain America and his buddy are sort of in dire straits. And then Doom kind of says, hold the phone here, boys. This is Captain America. I've heard of him. Yeah. I want to talk to him first. And goes, oh, here in Latveria, because of all your exploits in the war against the Nazis, you're a hero to the Latverian people, and we'll treat you like, whoa, this is a kind of a change of pace. And then there's like some background story about them in
Afghanistan,
the Middle East, kind of just laying down,
which is more about this other Captain America. The other,
I guess trying to build some history for that other captain.
Yeah, you're right. I really felt weird after we learned that after reading the first issue, which I feel like we both enjoyed. But then after, when I feel like we were both confused talking about it on the show, and then I learned that was the case, that they're kind of treating this like he kind of came out of the ice post that period, and this isn't current day. Like there's a comic coming out right now, which is really just referencing the fact that he recently came out of the ice, even though literally the series before this, it was not the case. So you're right. Is this taking place in the regular 616? I don't know. Or if he's just choosing like a time period to tell this story in. So I was a little thrown off by that, and even reading this one, I was at first. But I got to tell you, by the end of this issue, I really was enjoying this. I thought I really liked all like the flashback Afghanistan stuff, because it's more of like a more modern war that we know about, some stuff like, and like seeing how that guy kind of, how he was during that war was kind of interesting. And then it kind of like, there's a nice parallel between that and the stuff that's happening right now with this whole Latveria story, with him being on his first mission. And like you said, like I like how like he's kind of with the whole thing with Captain America just does things differently, but it's interesting because he's like, yeah, we're just gonna go in there and take them down, and all these fascists or whatever. He's like, no, like because my today's standards are like, no, you can't just go in there and do that, and the optics of it. You know what I mean? Like, and then he's like, what do you mean? We just go in there, we take them down. You know what I mean? Like, what's the problem, right? We like justice or whatever. Like, I just like how like the Captain America of the old, like the way he goes about a mission and the way like now they go about a mission, it's completely like different, and they're butting heads a little bit on that. Like, I like that. Like, it was interesting. I don't think I've ever seen Captain America in these type of scenarios, right? So I think the art's really strong too. I think the art's really good. And the fact that he left off with this Captain America thing, like you said, like he's like a hero to them or whatever, I thought that was interesting too. So I can't wait for the next one. I think Zdarsky, it's well written, as we usually expect from him, and they clearly are letting him do his thing here, like not like DC did when they fucking interfered in his Batman.
Right? It would be interesting if this is a young Captain America from Twilight.
Okay. Yes. Oh,
Twilight world.
Look at you, Chris. That's a good fucking theory. I like that. That may be
right here.
That could be the case. This could be his. That would make a lot of sense.
Could be the Twilight world.
That would make a lot of sense. And that was Zdarsky's,
Yeah, it was all him too. So that would be interesting if they did that.
Yeah, because this is weird, right? Like, it is kind of weird that this is kind of happening. But I kind of tried to like put that to the side while reading.
Yeah, I just kind of read it for the comic that it is. And that's not a decent comic.
Yeah. But it is weird, like where this takes place, right? Like, and I don't feel like Marvel, I don't know if they've publicly even spoken about that. Like, they're just putting out the comic, right? Like, so I don't know. Yeah, maybe you're onto something. Maybe, yeah. So
yeah, I think of the solicitations. Oh, they're gonna explore the time when he just got out of the ice, but they never said that he got out of I was expecting that the original, the
right,
or the canon time he got out of the ice, and here this Like he can gloss over the time, like he came out of the ice, I guess, post 9/11 or something.
Yeah, I haven't seen Zdarsky. I should really see if he like went on any comic podcasts or something or talked about it anywhere, because I'd be interested to know like what the context is behind this whole decision. But you know what? It's a good comic though.
But I like it. Yeah,
Yeah. So what'd you give this?
I'll give it 3.75. It's good art, and the story's
Yeah,
coming along.
I agree. 3.75 out of 5 is verging on a 4 though. Honestly, give it a couple more issues. I think like I just got to get used to what's
I just
going
got to
on.
get used to the characters, and
Yeah.
I got to reveal this Captain, the new Captain America, if he's good or bad, or if they're gonna have to clash. Who knows?
Yeah, it's still worth picking up though. Definitely check this out, guys, if you missed this one. Wolverine by Chris Claremont, #1. I got a couple here that I've read. This great Steve McNiven. We're just talking about him on Daredevil Cold Day in Hell. Great Wolverine cover with him fighting the Hand or ninjas or something there. So this is basically, apparently this issue existed previously. I guess they put out some special limited edition hardcover, I think, with like some of Chris Claremont's X-Men stuff in it or Wolverine stuff. And I guess this issue was part of, I had to like look into this because I wasn't sure if this was like a reprint or if this is like a new comic. So it's a new comic in the sense it never came out as an actual issue through Marvel. I guess it was, they put this story in some limited edition a collection that they put out at some point. And I guess they decided now to collect it into a single issue and put it out there. So, the cool thing about this was, what's his name is on here though, as an artist, Tom Riley, who's now, on G.I. Joe that we've been reading lately. So Tom Riley drew this Wolverine story, which I thought was pretty cool. But again, this is just like one of those like almost throwback things where Chris Claremont goes back to a period that he was writing Wolverine and tries to like, follow in the same footsteps of like, this is this is during that timeline, essentially, it felt like, and it was fine. I will say the takeaway I had, the main thing was Sabretooth is up in the mix and caused a lot of issues for these guys. And like Mariko, like his Japan wife there, who's in this, that was from like the Wolverine and, well, not Japan. I guess it's, what do you call it? What the hell is the Marvel Japan again? I always forget. It's basically Japan though. It's
Not Madripoor.
Madripoor. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That whole period with the like the Frank Miller Wolverine and some of the stuff that he did during like the Claremont run. He's like, in Madripoor a lot, like, right? So this definitely felt like that era in that sense. So good though. I liked it. I think overall it had some good Tom Riley art. It was a fine story. But nothing crazy either. Like, it was a nice one shot. If you're a Wolverine fan, I think it's worth picking up, but I don't regret buying it. I'll say that much. I give this a 3.5 out of 5. Overall, not bad. Some good Sabretooth moments in this as well. Next up, we got JSA #10. Jeff Lemire. End of the last issue, he introduced this Kid Eternity or Eternity Girl. I forgot her name. I think it's Kid Eternity. A character that he created like in an anthology that DC did, like I feel like 10 or 15 years ago. It was a long time ago whenever he created this character. And I guess now that he's working with DC again somewhat and writing this JSA series, he decided to bring this character back. So a lot of people may not even know that. I think it was like in one of those like DC holiday anthologies or something, like maybe like a Halloween one. He basically did a short story or did like a one shot. Actually, he did like a one shot issue, I think, where he created this character, if I'm not mistaken. So they came into the JSA now, and the story's basically still developing, where it's like the old JSA, and the new JSA, and now they are even referencing some of the old JSA members, like they're dead. I guess Hawkman and Hawkgirl, they're like in the afterlife here, and they lost track of Kid Eternity, and they're trying to bring her back and help her out. And then it's also referencing some current day stuff with them against a bunch of villains that face the old JSA team. So again, JSA is a lot to do about legacy characters, and some good like Justice League type stories. Overall, this was still enjoyable and fun, but I give this another 3.5 out of 5 this week. It was good. I just, again, he seems to be playing the long game in terms of the storytelling in some of these arcs. Things are, slowly developing, I'll say, in these storylines so far, but it's enjoyable. Red Hulk #7. I think this is going to be one of those ones that goes like 10 issues or something. Again, this is only happening during World Under Doom, it seems like, this series. But this has been a lot of fun. I'm actually really enjoying this series. This is what do you call it? Benjamin Percy there. And this is definitely on the side of the good stuff that Benjamin Percy has done for me. Yeah, again, just we've had the Red Hulk there, unable to transform into the Red Hulk. He's had some issues there. He's in captivity, fights this werewolf type character here, and we also catch up with what's his name, Machine Man and Deathlock in this issue. They're also on the run and trying to make their way back to save General Ross here, because he's unable to transform and basically been kept as a prisoner here. And General Stryker is the one who's basically has him contained and is torturing him in this. And he's trying to figure out a way to like raise his gamma levels up, and he starts transforming, but only like certain parts of his body are turning into the Red Hulk in this. So it looks really funny. Like it's just the head, as you can see in the art here, or the arm. And basically it seems like he's trying to figure out a way to contain that and transfer it over into his own experiments, General Stryker. So like he's trying to make it so he can somehow take away the parts of the Red Hulk without him transforming fully, and then use it on his own experimentation for his super soldiers. So I don't know how the hell that's going to pull out. Like he's basically just talking shit to him when he's on the table there. Like, you're not going to pull this off. I don't know what the hell you think. He's basically just, being a mad scientist about it, essentially. So yeah, but good stuff. I like this. It's a fun adventure kind of romp here with these characters that we don't see all too often. And as a tie-in, like I said, it's somewhat involved, not fully involved, even though I guess he was in captivity from Dr. Doom originally. But I overall give this a 3.75 out of 5. It's fun. I might even pick up the trade. It's a fun one. I like it. Farmhand 24. Not much to say about this. Again, 2 more issues to go for this series that was long off the stands for a couple of years. And they're basically just about to have the final showdown with the bad guy of this story. I'll still give this a 3.5 out of 5, though. Rob Guillory, really like his art. And I'm not as lost as I was a couple issues ago after this came back after being away for years. But he seems to be reining it in, and I get the gist of what's going on here. And it seems like they're about to take, hopefully, this villain that's been terrorizing their family in this story down once and for all at the end of this series. But overall, good stuff. And if you guys never read this, it might be time to check out the trades for that once it's all finished. All right, Chris, Sisterhood number 2.
Yes, kind of took a flyer on this one. Joined the Hyde Street, and it's a bit of a spin-off of the Hyde Street type stories. And I guess in the first issue, we had these 2 friends where one girl, they were off to university, and one girl drowns while she was, what do they call it, rushing for a sorority.
Yeah.
A sorority house. And this kind of picks up from where that last issue left off. And the friend can kind of see her friend in reflections. And I guess the girl that drowned, her plan is to try and get revenge on the sorority house, and her friend doesn't really seem to want much to do with it. Just happy that her friend is sort of back, and just be kind of happy that they're together again, let's say. And then I think her sister comes in. You see some flashbacks about how her sister and her didn't get along too well, and how the family is fighting this sorority to try and hold them accountable. And it seems like they have a lot of sway. It seems all these sorority houses have the run of the land there because all their parents are benefactors or donate a lot to the university. So a lot of things are swept under the rug. And she says, I think one of the lines are, these girls, they'll kind of face the music sooner or later. And then I think the sister says, well, how many people are going to have to suffer until then? And then her friend, decides that she will kind of go undercover sort of in the sorority to find out what's going on and try and get some info on them to help put them away. But that's not enough for the person that drowned there. And she seems to want her to revenge to go a little bit further. And I guess a bit of the twist in the story, it seems like she might be able to take over her friend, because her friend almost kind of blacks out. Because, he starts almost feeling a bit of empathy for these sorority sisters. Not all of them are bad. And, one of them seemed to be really nice and, thinking they can get in there. And then, she's sitting on a ledge, and I guess you can kind of see the reflection of the girl that drowned in her glasses, and then you see that she was pushed over the edge, and just see her impaled. So if this sorority was trying to, kind of fly under the radar, they're back in the thick of it again. And I guess the amount of revenge might be a bit scary to the girl that's alive. So I thought it was a good story. I'll be happy to read more of it.
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, I think we were a little surprised by that first issue. We kind of weren't expecting to read it. We saw it that week when it came out, and we saw, it's a Hyde Street tie-in. So we both, without even talking about it, me and Chris ended up reading it and talking about it here on the show. But I like that they're branching out and telling some other stories about these characters, which I'm sure will go back into the main series eventually, where they kind of reference these people.
Yeah.
But this was like this is, again, it's a basic approach to a type of like this story. I will say it's kind of a basic one, but that being said, it's still enjoyable. And I'm
with the classic horror trope, where someone wants revenge and then someone helps you, and the revenge they want is like just way out of proportion of what you were thinking. You want to bring them to justice, and they're out to friggin' murder them all. So
exactly, revenge story for sure. Yeah, what'd you give this out of 5?
I'll go to 4. It's better than a 3.75. I think. I thought the art's good in there too.
Okay, no, I'm gonna go with 3.75 for this one. But yeah, I am enjoying it as well, like you are. Yeah, I'm interested to see if they do other ones outside of this. So I mean, they did that one shot before. It was called like Devour or something, which was about the girl with the tapeworm that she like basically like ate that thing. I'm interested to see if they flesh out some other stuff here, because I think like these like horror type stories that they're telling of these people in Hyde Street, they're very interesting. I like how they all have different approaches to them, like the stories, right? So yeah, it's good stuff so far. Next up, Absolute Superman number 10.
Wasn't planning on buying this one, but I've been enjoying this Superman, so I did pick it up.
Nice.
Then fucking right off the bat, it hits me where I fucking hate the story. It goes back in freaking time.
Yeah,
it's stuck there for a little bit longer than it needed to be.
Yeah,
and I guess the takeaway from that is maybe the guidance that the Superman got from his father might not be the same sort of guidance that the regular Superman would have had, from his farm family, where they're, trying to be gentle and nice and all that. His father says, sometimes you got to do some harsh, you got to make some tough decisions to keep what you get. And then it goes back to the main story, which is happy to get back to. And there's a lot of stuff with Ra's al Ghul in this one, so I think like the villains are really sort of coming to fruition, let's say. And he's still trying to track down Superman, and I think they're out in the Arctic because they believe that without the sun coming up in 37 days, Superman might be able to wear out some of his powers. And this Ra's al Ghul, I want Superman to, he wants to basically, I don't want to say brainwash him, but kind of get him to be on his side and show him the way to go. And I know that they're saying that this absolute universe is everybody is supposed to be different, but this Superman is still a good Superman. Like, that Ra's al Ghul was about to kill, what's his name, the Peacemaker, that's the guy that's been trying to murder Superman this whole time with the kryptonite bullet, and Superman still reaches out to save his life. And not that it's a bad thing for Superman to do, but I thought these were supposed to be sort of alternate type versions, but they're still basically the same people, which is fun. Not a drawback, but I was hoping for something different, let's say. But the story itself is still good. It looks like that leader of the Omega Men, was Talia al Ghul, so I thought that was a big switch.
Yeah.
Or a bit of a swerve, let's say. They're kind of playing both sides of the same fence. And I guess Superman's got some decisions to make here. So yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, same. It's been really good lately. This issue felt like a bit of a step back. Yeah, pros. The Al Ghul stuff is very interesting. The fact that Brainiac is still involved in the background, like, he's doing some stuff now. Like, again, I love that one issue where they introduced him. I'm really excited to see more of him. Those are the good things really happening in the book right now. I think the villains are great in this book so far. Like between the Al Ghul stuff and the characterization of them and his organization and how he's trying to like, you know, get in with the Superman and that whole thing with the Peacemaker stuff, all that stuff like is working really well. But like Chris said, like this issue, the thing that I did not like about it is they spent more time on flashback Krypton stuff where we had so much of that, I felt like in the first arc, and it actually took away from the enjoyment of learning about this new character as opposed to the other absolute books. You know, Batman did a little bit, but I think it worked better there than it did here. You know, this was our least favorite book out the gate, I feel like, out of the three. And it got really strong the last few issues. I think they need to like focus more on what they're doing and telling the current day storyline as opposed to this past stuff. I think that's enough of this Krypton stuff, which, like you said, it feels very similar to the Superman that we know anyway. So I don't think we need that stuff, honestly. So yeah. So you know, like I said, there's some good and some bad here, but I you know, I think this was just like you know, hopefully they get back to like the quality of the last few issues. Like
I hope so, or I'm just buying them on bad run. I'm gonna put 3 crappy issues, and then those are the ones I'll get on solicitation or on by my pull list. And by the time I drop it, it gets good again.
Right.
Oh, killing me. But I'll give it a 3.75 though. Like it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't as good as it's been.
Exactly. 3.75 out of 5. I agree. Next up, Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe #5, the last issue of this miniseries.
Ooh. This was a book that's hard to follow.
Yeah.
You know, in that whatever that the Daredevil Cold Day in Hell, like those actions, you could see what's happening in the fights. Here, so like this Deadpool's got so many powers. I don't know what he's doing half the time and who he's killing. How, like, you know, you'll see him, I think one time you see him just kind of holding the hammer, and then you'll see Goliath's head's kind of just blown to pieces. So I guess you have to imagine that he threw the hammer and it just blasted his head. And they're really putting a lot of stuff here together. I think this might have done better if the art was a bit just more on point. And it didn't really resolve anything at the end. You know, it's basically he's back where he started. He can still time travel. He's still got all the powers, and supposedly that whoever this Flux, whatever her name is, or I don't know, some crazy name, is still out there, and he's going to be hunting this person down in different multiverses if they decide to bring it back. So, kind of a whole lot of run for nothing.
That's what bugged me the most, was the fact that they left it open-ended at the end. This is like, you're talking about Cullen Bunn wrote these miniseries over, like, it's been a long time since the last one. I feel like he's written like these 3 miniseries or however many he did with his Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe, kills them again, kills them one more time, or, you know, this whole thing about like, I think he did this over like 10 years. It was a long period of time. Like, he kept revisiting these miniseries. So the fact that at the end of this, they couldn't shut it down and pull the trigger and like actually be like, this is the end of this.
Yeah, they could say it's the end and still bring it back. You don't need to leave it open.
Yeah. I mean, like, I read the first one. I don't think I read the second one. If there was more between the second one and the third one that I'm not aware of, or this one that I think is the third one, then I'm just not aware of it. Yeah. Otherwise, though, I didn't think this was a satisfying end to the story, to your point, of this miniseries. Like, I mean, but if you're going to take into account the fact that they've done other miniseries and they couldn't even finish this, don't call it whatever the hell they called it. What is it? It kills the universe. Is it One Last Time? Whatever.
That's what I thought it was called, but
One Last Time. No, it is. It says, well, no, exactly.
Yeah, but it's not One Last Time. He's probably going to do it again and again.
False advertising. Right?
Yeah. One thing I did like, it's almost like those timeless comics where you got to see what's going on everywhere. Like, they have the duck or not. I thought that was funny, where the Howard the Duck as the juggernaut, and then, you know, I think when he's falling through time, you can kind of see little shards. I think you see like a Venom Mark Spectre or a Venom type of Moon Knight, and just kind of like just interesting ideas that are kind of just thrown out there.
Yeah,
but otherwise, that's not enough to save a series.
No, it's, you know, this started strong. I just think it kind of ended with a thud. Unfortunately, not in a good way. What'd you give this?
It's a 3.5.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, there's nothing inherently wrong with it, not to give it a 3.5, but I might even go 3.25 because I'm upset that they didn't end it.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
You know what I mean? So I can't
wouldn't call you out on it. Let's say.
Yeah, I got to go 3.25 on this one out of 5. Next up, we go Storm 11.
Yeah, but enjoying these Storm issues. This one though, I don't know what happened here. I have no idea what's going on here. I have no idea where we left off in the last one, but this one just kind of came out of the blue, where all these lightning gods or whatever seem to get together, and they're all deciding whether or not they should help Storm or
Storm gods, I think. I think they're storm gods.
Storm god. Yeah, whatever. It's like Zeus, and I don't even know how these guys get together as a
Beta
team
Ray
or as a group
Bill.
of
Come
people.
on,
Yeah,
man.
I like seeing Beta Ray Bill. He had the best lines in here. I guess he was the only one that was sort of supporting Storm.
Yeah.
But still, what she's up to or who she's fighting, I have no idea. And this Galactus stuff, I don't even know what that's about.
No.
Is that something that we missed, or
it happened? I think at the end of the last issue, they introduced him to the storyline. It's been pretty crazy, this story.
yeah? Now he's just freaking chilling out there. I don't know what that's about. Yeah, this one didn't hit me in a good way.
I'm still enjoying it. I still think the art's good. I like the idea of the Storm God Council. I did very much like the Beta Ray Bill scene with him kind of advocating for her when none of the other ones were. But this is like some deep, like obscure type stuff that they're playing with here in the Marvel universe. Like the gods are referencing and the relations, and I don't know if this is a pre-established stuff or this is new for the story. So I don't blame you, because even myself, I'm like confused, but there's still enough for me to kind of latch onto where I'm enjoying it. But if I was going to sit here and tell you, like, if I understand everything that's happening in this story, no, I don't either. But I think the Storm Council idea in and of itself, I think that's very interesting. I like that a lot. I thought that's kind of, although, like, why is Thor not there? You
exactly,
know what I mean? Yeah. But I guess that's Beta Ray Bill.
Now he's like the All-Father.
Right. Beta Ray Bill is the representation of Thor, though, I guess, in this.
Yeah, but this is a council where you're talking with gods like Eternity and things like that.
Right.
You don't send an emissary.
Right.
You show up yourself.
And then I love
talking about the Black Winter stuff. Like, I know the Black Winter is a big deal.
Yes.
Like that's a universe killing sort of entity.
Yes.
And like, is she fighting that here, or I don't know what's going on?
Well, that comes and basically ends up killing a lot of the men. Like, the council basically has to run away from that in this issue, right? Like, I don't know if but what sparked that to happen? I don't know. Yeah, I'm a little unclear about some of it, but it looks like some of them get taken out as a result of that here, the council members anyways. But yeah, whenever you involve like these Marvel Universe gods and stuff like that, like, they show up so very little that whenever they do, it's always interesting, but I don't feel like I have a good grasp on like who, like they're referencing people that are related to each other, and like they're
referencing too many of them here. They like even reference the one above all, which,
right,
like if you read the Hulk, you might, that Immortal Hulk, I think you might have a better understanding of the one above all, the one below all, and all that sort of baloney. But
I know who Eternity is, though. I didn't know that Eternity, they're talking about the kid in this, like his son or whatever, right? That she's,
it seems like Galactus is almost like the Herald of Eternity or something,
right? So like, I love all that shit. Don't get me wrong. Like, whenever those guys show up, all that stuff's interesting to me. Like all those like higher beings of the Marvel universe, but it's like, you don't know so much about them because they show up so sparingly in things that, like, whenever they show up, especially in something like this where I never imagined Storm was going to become a god and all this other stuff, right? Yeah, it's a little confusing. Like, you're like, what is her, like,
out there.
I will say this though, I've never read a story like this for this character, so I give props to the writer for coming up with this type of story for her. I will say that. Like, I never in a million years thought I'd be reading and enjoying a Storm series, and it's been great overall. I just think it's like there's a lot going on now. It's like, what the hell? Like, yeah, I agree with you. I'm there with you with this whole, like, I don't know what this didn't do it for me in that sense. Yeah, absolutely. What'd you give this?
I'll give it a 3.5.
I still would give it also a 3.5. Yeah. I again, that council idea is very cool. I like that there's like a council of all the Thunder people and all that stuff. But yeah, I just really think that instead of, Thor should have been there. I think that's odd that he wasn't. But anyways, Ultimate Wolverine number 8, Chris.
Oof.
I got the variant here.
That's a nice variant, but
Yeah.
where is it? Hold on a second. I got it here somewhere. Oh, there it is. Oh, there it is.
He doesn't have it.
Where? I don't know where, but I got it. I got the A cover.
Okay.
That ain't kind of good stuff with that Archangel on there.
It's right here. I'll bring it up on the cover. It is also good. Yeah, right this one here. Nice stuff. Yeah.
And I guess they have this task force X. Is that what they're called? Are they the task force here? Or they're whatever. There's some strike force X here, and I guess they plan on going to whatever this Snake Island or whatever it's called to liberate all these mutants. And they're all sort of gearing up, and Wolverine faces himself. There's a little bit too much of this stuff here. I'm not a big. It's good visuals.
Yeah.
But they're laying on a bit thick, I think we had a whole 3 issues of all this stuff already. Okay, we get it.
Yeah.
But I think he looks kick-ass though in his new uniform here without that metal piece there, and it's more of a classic Wolverine sort of costume. And then they go to this whatever, I'll call it Snake Island. I don't know what island it is, but they go to the island there to try and save all the mutants from some sort of base there, and I think Kitty Pryde phases through the walls, or Sprite, whatever they call her. She phases through the walls, and they're all kind of worried about her for a second. Then she comes back out, and she's freaked out. And we go, "Oh, they're all dead. They're all dead." I'm like, "Oh man, something bad's going on in there."
It is Snake Island. It is Snake Island. You got it, bud.
Okay, I thought it was a crazy name then for it.
It's called Zemilny Snake in quotations Island. There you go. You got it though.
But when they did come in, and there's so many dead people, I thought this was going to be like a freaking, like a stadium of dead people.
Right.
So I don't want to say I'm a bad thing there. Like when there's only like 20 or 30, go on. That can't be that shocking to them. But
yeah.
But either way, they were all dead. Those are all the mutants that they're trying to save. And then they kind of go further down the hall there, and then you see a freaking zoned out Archangel kind of just repeating some sort of line. I won't let them do it. I won't let them do it. And freaking, he looks kick ass here. It's almost, you got the feather wings, but there's still the metal wings. And I guess you can only assume that he just went to town in there, and why he did, you don't know. And then I think I think Kitty Pryde tries to reason with them, and then he sort of lashes out, and it looks like he takes out Abigail Brand. So that could be a big death in there, and he's got a few into Hank McCoy as well. And I think Wolverine basically just shuts him down. I don't know if he kills them, but he doesn't look too conscious at the end of their little skirmish, let's say.
Well, let's talk about a big death in this, though. I mean, not big in this series, I guess, because it's not like he's been very developed. He kills Beast in this fucking issue.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if he died. I know he took one in the
I don't know. He looks dead to me. Maybe I'm wrong, but he looks pretty messed. I mean, they're both pretty messed up. Maybe he's not.
Yeah,
dead.
like that.
Maybe he's
like
not.
It seemed like I thought that it was pretty definite that that green girl is dead.
Oh, that's Polaris, isn't it? Is that Polaris?
No, I think that's Abigail Brand.
Oh, Abigail Brand. Sorry, I see green and I think of Polaris every time. Yeah, that is Abigail Brand of Sword. Yeah.
That's kind of see her with her head lying up against the wall or something. I don't think I saw a scene like that with Hank. I saw him take one.
Yeah,
but maybe, I don't see him lying there dead and them grieving him over him. But I could be wrong.
I don't know. Maybe you're not. But yeah, this looked really. Alessandro Capuccio is going to be at Fan Expo in a couple of weeks, Chris. it's like pretty good. I don't know if I have to hit him up for an Ultimate Wolverine. We'll see. Yeah, it looks great visually, and Archangel is really cool, and I love how they went with the angle of like the like instead of Archangel, like the Apocalypse kind of Archangel, like essentially here, and there's a whole. Like the through line, it seems like the theme of this series is again a lot to do with like the experimentation and control of the mutants, like between him.
Yeah, it seems like they're trying to make another weapon there, and he just went off the rails and he just killed. Like you'd think he almost was there to wipe that base clean, but it looks like he just did that just because he's crazy. Yeah, and, that wasn't the plan for him to kill everybody in there.
Yeah, so good stuff. I mean, I liked it. again, I'm disappointed to hear what's going on with the Ultimate stuff because I don't know where that leaves this book, and I feel like it's been a slow start to kind of really get to where we've been going with this series. Although I've enjoyed it, I just like now I feel like
like basically there could only be like 4 more issues. It's
there's
basically
only
what until
there's
December, I think.
there's only so much story I feel that's left of this, right? So yeah, I don't know. I honestly, that's like I'm starting to feel that way as just like big general opinion about Marvel, though. Like I was having this conversation with somebody the other day. Like he showed me some issue that he picked up, and it's like some older issue of a series that was like 100 and something issues in. I'm just like, yeah, that doesn't happen anymore, though. Like this is like like they give us now. They've put out some freaking general statement. If it doesn't sell well in 10 issues, we're gonna put the axe on it. Like, how could you? Like, why? It's so hard to get people to want to commit based off that information now. Like, you know what I mean? To a series, like when you're not going to tell me a story, you're going to tell me a half a story. You know what I mean? Like, it seems like I don't know. Like, there's something to that. I get it because of sales and whatever else, but like, it's kind of a kick in the balls when you're really enjoying.
I think it's even worse than that because like all those like the Psylocke and all those Marvel ones at Magic, I think they're destined to be only 10 issues because this Age of Apocalypse, whatever, and that's spinning out into another freaking 20 series. Like this was in the works probably when this stuff was going on.
Yeah.
So like there's no way they would, like, even if those ones were successful, they wouldn't be running them
right
during after the Age of Apocalypse, because that basically shuts everything down that's going on in those series.
Yeah.
And it seems like this is going to be the plan for those series that spin out of Age of Apocalypse or Revelation of Apocalypse, whatever it is.
It's pretty much apocalypse, though. Let's be honest.
Yeah, and those are going to be probably another 10 issue. Depending on how long the Revolution, whatever the Age of Apocalypse runs.
Yeah.
And when that's all over, all those side issues are all going to die, good or bad. Unfortunately, I think they're all going to be bad. But anyways, we'll see when they come out.
I know. It's just disappointing. It's hard for me to be committed to something when we know the outcome a few months down the line that they're wrapping this series.
Well, it's almost the same thing that's going on with this Ultimate Universe.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what
these were destined to run just 10 issues, good or bad. And
yeah,
I hope they got a plan afterwards, but we'll see.
I don't know. I mean, I think we're both of the same mind that not everything needs to go on forever either. I'm not opposed to, but when something's
like you do catch lightning in a jar. Freaking gotta let that run for a while. Let her run.
I mean, for a while there, it seemed like they were open to the idea. I guess more so DC that we hear about this happening with more nowadays, where they'll announce a miniseries, people react and enjoy it. Then all of a sudden, they're like, you know what? We're going to push it to 12. You know what? Now it's an ongoing series. I'd rather them do that than what Marvel's doing, where they're like, hey, look, sales aren't that great. We're going to end it here at 10 issues. And then then the writer has to be like, oh, okay, I guess I'll just wrap it up here then. Just come up with some stupid idea.
Yeah, that's it.
Right. It's just, it's, I don't like that approach. I think it's, it's kind of, and they both have similar kind of weird approaches to it, where the DC could likewise also screw over the writer in that sense. But I just think, we're basing things on sales now, right? Like, it's not like, I don't know. It's just, it's shitty. It doesn't serve storytelling as the main thing here. Right. Anyways, what'd you give this?
I give it a 4. I thought it was great. Another good read.
It was a really good issue. Yeah. I also give it a 4 out of 5. Yeah. Good stuff. All new Venom number 9, Chris.
There we go. Let's get into the soap opera here.
Yeah. Love it. That's why we got to end with our Spidey books on this show. We have a lot of opinions on these.
Once again, I might have that the Scott Campbell, J. Scott Campbell, sitting in a pull list somewhere. Who knows? If not, that's okay. But if I do, even better. And this freaking Carlos Gomez art. Oh, I can't say enough about this here. He's not. I don't think he's the greatest artist, but I'm loving it for this the battle. He works both ends. He gets the battles. He gets the everyday life stuff. Great. I love the Venom, where the Venom was beaten down, but it still had sort of the curves of Mary Jane in there, when it was just kind of more of a suit floating in there. And then the anti-Venom, I guess he decides to mentally suck all his anti-Venom in so he can take on one of the other symbiotes, and it comes up with a nice, almost Spider-Man like suit. And whatever they do their battle, and whatever Scar Island, And whatever the battle, it's I think that a smart way of finishing it. Didn't like Doc Ock one of his tentacles like blow up in his face or something?
Well, at one point when he's fighting, he ends up severing his own like his own, what is it called, like octoid or whatever. Like he ends up slicing into them. But yeah, later on, I think something blew up in his face. Yeah, I like how many gadgets he has associated with his arms now. Like there's even a scene where the other person, his associate there, they let off some gas and then he
he goes, oh yeah, he's one as a respirator.
But yeah, no, it's good stuff.
Yeah, that was funny too. He goes, oh, I'm one step like he thinks he's so smart. Oh, I'm so many steps ahead of you. And then they just do something like, oh, don't worry. Oh, don't they freaking like one of the Venoms just basically inject themselves inside of him and just freaking I don't know what they do to his insides, but I guess that was it for Doctor Doom or Doc Ock. But then after all that action, you had Mary Jane coming back to her apartment that she shares with Mr. Man Bun. And the way they write this was just freaking hilarious. Mr. Man Bun, he's like, oh, it's just the biggest sap that goes, oh, Mary Jane, we got to talk. Oh, I'm so sorry. I've been thinking about me the whole time, and this is my fault. I'm ready to be a better man. I'm ready to try harder. And she just drops the boom or lowers the boom on him. And like this, I don't know how long this has been coming for, and any sort of
loved it.
Amazing Spider-Man fan, or they really turned this thing around. That they pulled the WWE up with that hate on Paul, and they served this well in this Venom book. I can't believe I just love this, and they didn't draw it out either. Like I thought, oh, are they going to do this? You think she's going to freaking, oh, don't worry, well, we can work it out. She has her stupid story about running away. They might have stretched it for a couple extra panels, kind of keep you on the hook there for a little bit, and then pow, he just lowers the boom on him, and I don't think there's anybody crying about this here, but it was very fun to read.
Paul, I mean, I know they left us on this note. I don't know if they're going to end up resolving this like within an issue or two, but it looks like Paul's finally done. Mary Jane drops him here. I love how Carlos Gomez draws her. She's thick. She's like, she's got some cake. I love how he draws her. She's like really, really good looking, honestly. Like the way he draws her, like it's not even like in a cheesecakey way. It's just like
she's just good
looking woman. Yeah. I like he draws her great, and like making this Paul Schlub Mr. Man Bun stand beside her. She's so out of his league. Like it's insane. Like and like the whole thing, like honestly, and this is like going back to how this thing started. It was basically a romance out of circumstance. These two were together in some world somewhere, and they ended up falling in love because she was like, you know what I mean? They got to know each other, and they were together for I don't know how many years. They were stuck in that dimension or whatever in that last issue. You remember that the Zeb Wells run where they ran off? That's where she met this schlub, right? So the fact that he comes here and then like he's just not cutting it, this guy. Like he realized it was too little too late, and honestly that was it for him. It honestly made all the sense in the world that this scene happened, and all the fans of Amazing Spider-Man rejoiced at this moment reading this, and it happened in all new Venom. That's the thing. That's very
crazy thing.
Yeah, I mean, like again, like it was a great scene. I mean, me and Chris, we hung out the other day, and we were, even before doing the show here, we usually don't talk about the comics, but we couldn't help but talk about this moment. It was great. Yeah, we love this thing. This is what happened here. It's good stuff. Yeah, thank God. Let's hope it sticks. Let's hope it sticks, because although we're going to talk about the next book here in a moment, Amazing Spider-Man, and the plot thickens in that one, as far as I'm concerned.
I love the sort of crossover, but they're not making it like obvious. It's not like, oh, this is the dumping of Man Bun part 1 and part 2,
right? Because
but the storyline does continue from one issue to another.
Absolutely. What happened here when she goes to see Peter and Amazing Spider-Man, which we're going to talk about in a minute, is absolutely after this happened. Absolutely. Yeah. There's no doubt in my mind like that's the case. Like, so good job on them working together in that sense, like the editorial, like, yeah, because I think
I guess it doesn't necessarily have to happen after.
No, but it was great as well.
Yeah. Well,
what did you give this?
Yeah, I want to give this a 7, but I'll give it a 5.
You'll give it a 5?
No,
Wow.
no, I can't give this a 5. Come on, I'm not. That's crazy. That's
You're
crazy
not
talk.
you're not me who just gives 5s out
That's
nowadays.
crazy. I'll give this I'll give it a 4.25.
I agree. Yeah, 4.25. I think Nick Lowe is the editor on all the Spider-Man books, though. So, like, I think that's
Yeah,
why.
he must have been off this week or something, and Al Ewing's just freaking going to town.
No. He even wrote something in a backup in Amazing Spider-Man number 9, which we're going to talk about now. I also get a 4.25. So, Amazing Spider-Man 9. Got to bust out the J. Scott Campbell cover here. Great stuff.
That's it. Look what left you, man bun. Boom. Nice cover.
Good one. Yeah. I know we've been talking about some of these covers he's done lately. Some of them have been phoned in. That one, not the case. Great cover by J. Scott Campbell. So
I don't mind the day cover either.
no, it's good. Yeah.
Once again, freaking enough of this freaking back in childhood. I hated Superman. I hate it here. I don't even know what's going on. But anyways, once you get back into the story here, I think this takes a page almost out of the Ultimate Spider-Man. You kind of catch up with the story a few months later, and it seems that Peter Parker has been laying low,
Yeah.
just kind of just living his life. You know, he seems to be still busted up. I don't know how that works because he got beaten up pretty bad. And, you know, I guess all his friends are sort of worried about him because he's been, I guess, not answering or not being, I guess, his usual self. But he seems to be kicking ass at work and doing well there. So that's always fun to see. You know, and there's, you know, I guess his childhood buddy is trying to set him up with, you know, one of the hot scientists there. And he really doesn't play that at all. But, you know, he's still been ditching Aunt May. The only downside I don't like about this story is just we went through a lot of this through the 8 Deaths of Spider-Man, where he is, you know, just brooding and, you know, kind of trying to be incommunicado with everybody. But, you know, the story with Aunt May, she's kind of, you know, talking to her Latino lover there, I guess, in the soup kitchen. And,
Is
you
he
know,
like,
I still have, you know, I still have one card yet to play to try, you know, I don't want to force contact with Peter, but I really want to know what's going on. And I guess the card she plays is she calls Mary Jane to find out what happened to Peter because she knows, I guess she's under the impression that Peter and Mary Jane, you know, or Mary Jane can always get a hold of Peter whenever she wants. And this is a scene that I've been waiting for a long time, seeing these two back together, especially now that Mary Jane's got the Venom symbiote. And, you know, they kind of have some playful banter, let's say, but, you know, there's still nothing really going on there. And, you know, basically just Mary Jane, you know, we know what's going on. How come you haven't been talking about me? Aunt May freaking sent me here to talk to you. And, you know, I guess he's still kind of giving her the cold shoulder. And then boom, she freaking drops the big reveal there saying, Peter, I need your help. And, you know, I'm glad this was the way it was, you know, on the pages. You know, you don't know what's gonna happen after that. And he just freaking just like stone faced, no response, doesn't even like react and just kind of looks at them and goes, what the heck? You two deserve each other. Fucking slams the door, you know, behind him and just leaves them freaking together in the hallway looking at each other like, what the hell? Which I do find sort of out of context because the last time we saw them all three together, you know, freaking Venom was in Peter Parker's mind, and you know, Peter Parker's almost having freaking sex with the Venom costume on. And you know, then Venom's reading his mind about how much he loves Mary Jane. And then when they're in that freaking tetracide zombie oat, you know, you could see Peter Parker going in there just to save Mary Jane.
yeah.
So from there to there, it's a bit of a swing, let's say.
Oh man, that was your best review ever, Chris. You're in rare form. Honestly, I forgot about that miniseries where he was having sex with him.
Well, I remember saying, "Oh, how is it, Peter? Oh, feels so good."
I remember. I think that was the one that was drawn by your boy Greg.
Wow.
Oh yeah, that was great stuff. I forgot about that one, but
He clicks on all the buttons there. It's not just, you know,
yeah.
NVW.
Honestly though, honestly, I live for these moments and these issues this week. These were great moments. I agree with you. And honestly, like, even though, like you said, if you're going to compare it to whatever was going on in continuity wise, it doesn't matter, because if we're just focusing on what happened here in this issue without getting into that, that was just like a great realistic moment. She burned him a lot. There's so many times where, like, you know what I mean? Like, so like, I do not blame him for doing that. Yes. Is it very Peter Parker like? Not necessarily. And I know, Chris, you said there's a rumor mill going out there that,
Well, that's the question. Is it him?
yes. So,
Who knows?
but, it's not what we would expect from this character, but is it what you would expect from a real person that's gone through what he's had with her? Yeah, absolutely. He would be like, I'm over this. Like, I don't blame him for doing what he did in that scene. I don't, and, I was talking with Chris about this the other day too. I was like, some people, me, myself included, comic fans, you're like, this just seems so out of character. I don't like this. This writer doesn't know how to write the character. Sometimes these out of character moments, though, are what is interesting about them. Like, it's just like, this was a great scene, like, in this issue, right? So I loved it. I thought it was great. I think she deserved, like, for him to turn his back and not want to help her in that moment. He's got a lot going on with his life right now.
I'm a true believer. There's something happened in those 3 months. You're going to find out.
Honestly,
they didn't skip 3 months or whatever, 2-3 months for a reason.
It's possible.
Something's up. Something is amiss.
I'm down with him being like, that's enough. Also,
well, yeah, then he comes back here. Oh, and I got to talk about the art here too.
Yeah,
I know who this artist was, but freaking jackpot. Bang on. If you're going to bring on somebody, whoever this person is, I thought they did a great job.
Michael Dowling,
especially for this type of issue. Like, if this was a freaking JR issue, oh my God, what a waste it would have been.
I was just about to remind you of that because you were talking about the art the other day too. Yeah, Michael Dowling was the artist on this one who hopefully they use him more because, yeah, he did a great job in this issue. So good stuff. I like this.
Yeah, Peter Parker's going to cover. Spider-Man's coming back as a
bit of a rocky,
no-holds-barred sort of guy. He wants to be a little bit more pushing the edge, and who knows? Maybe the other Peter Parker's in space already.
Yeah, it was a bit of a rocky start on this series, but I think we're in a good place right now with it. I'm really enjoying it. I think.
Yeah, it turned the corner for me, at least. That's for sure.
Same. Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess you were hating on it more than I was, but I still wasn't loving it. But I think that
I was ready to drop this after this first few issues.
I mean, if they get this Dowling in the mix with Pepe Larraz, as well as an odd issue
Todd Knock or something that was going to come in for a bit or something.
Todd Knock, yeah. I mean, listen, I'm not opposed to having JR in the mix, but I just don't want him doing every arc, right? Like, so yeah. So this is this is good. Or give him specific art or stories, like for a couple of issues that he'll knock out of the park. Like, I think the Hellgate stuff was good.
Yeah, I think that worked for him.
Exactly. Yeah. So like, there's certain
with no face, a villain with no face.
Hey, but it worked.
All square lines. It's great.
I told you, I'm like, as soon as I knew he was coming on that Hellgate, I said that on this show. I'm like, he's gonna do good at that issue. I was like, I know what he's good at doing these days. JR. These big, bulky, blocky.
Yeah, he was good with the end of that second Tombstone run.
Great.
Tombstone and Spider-Man, like, kind of battling balls to the walls. That was a good one. I didn't mind that either.
That was right at the end of the Zeb Wells run. Yeah, that was fantastic. Where they're fighting in the subway for 2 issues. Fantastic. Yeah, that was good. That was a good use of his. That's what I mean. You can't have him on an issue like this, like what you just had here. You said that. Yeah, absolutely. So I agree. What'd you give this out of 5?
Oof. I'll give it a 4. I want to give it a 4.5, but that's unfair to 4.5 comics. I'll give it a 4.25. Yeah,
because if you remove those scenes that we've talked about in these 2 issues, then they're just like, they're still like 4s. Yeah.
Yeah, who's the captain of this, whatever, that white
I don't know.
Kangaroo.
I don't know where that guy's from. He just keeps
they just drop him in there.
I don't know who that guy is.
When they just bring in Speed Racer or something.
Yeah.
Hypno Hustler.
Yeah, that's an actual Spider-Man guy, though. Hypno Hustler. If anybody knows who that is, please drop it in the comments. Though, if they know about him outside of this, if he existed somewhere prior to now, let us know because I have no idea. 4.25 out of 5. Good stuff. All right, Chris, what are you looking forward to reading? That's gonna do it for all our comics we read this week, guys. What are you looking forward to reading next week, guys?
On my tablet here.
Well, the date for that is going to be August, I think 13th. I want to say. Am I right on that? Yeah, August 13th, 2025. This is what we're looking forward to checking out.
Let's see here. Yeah, so for August 13th, I'll be reading the Ultimates 15. Don't think I'll be buying it.
Same.
Yeah, lots to read, I think. I don't know if I'll read X-Men 20. I don't mind. I don't care what's going on there, really. That Incursion, haven't been a big fan of that. Magic, haven't been a big fan of that. Imperial 3, looking forward to that, that's for sure. I'll probably be reading Fantastic Four. It'd be funny if they could bring in Eddie Brock Carnage into the story somehow, but who knows. Spider-Man Wolverine 4, hopefully that picks up the pace again. This Marvel Knights World to Come. Maybe I'll read this Predator Kills the Marvel Universe, but I think I've been tapped out on that story. Let's see what DC's got. Well, that can't be right. We got like 2 comics for DC next week.
It's not a big week. I don't have a big week next week, so it might be the case. I don't think there's much we're reading that we were like they're coming out next week.
Let's see if the Image has got nothing either. What's happening?
Yeah, I told you it's a small week.
Oh, it's a crazy small week.
Yeah.
Where's Dark Horse? Is that freaking what's his name coming out soon? Nothing there either. Yeah, so small week. Maybe I'll take a flyer on some things like I said last time, but I didn't. So maybe I won't again this week.
Yeah, for DC, well, here's something you may want to check out. I think it'll be good. This is the Superman, the Kryptonite Spectrum, #1 of 5. This is basically some guys that did like a popular Image book, like a more creator-owned stuff that are doing a Superman mini series like for DC. So I'm actually very interested in this one. Today I saw a page that they posted online that it's like a preview page that like shows all the different types of kryptonite colors and what they do. So like hence like the whole spectrum thing. So I don't know if he's gonna have a run in with all like the different types of kryptonite or something in this story. But I was like, okay, that's kind of interesting. I can get on board with that. So yeah, that's Superman, this kryptonite spectrum. It's like a mini series. It's #1 of 5, comes out next week. Trinity, daughter of Wonder Woman, comes out next week, it looks like. Let me see here. I think that's it for DC though. I got nothing for Dark Horse. Just gonna look at Marvel now, an Image. IDW. No, there's no Ninja Turtles. Image. No, doesn't look like anything. Like you said, yeah, nothing from there. It looks like. Is this correct? I got Transformers 23 on my list for next week for shipping. Again, the shipping lists are a little off right now because of the disbandment of Diamond. I think some of the information that we're seeing sometimes is wrong, but I have Transformers 23, so maybe that if that comes out. And then Marvel. I don't know. I might want to check out this Bring on the Bad Guys Red Skull. I like the Red Skull as a villain, but whether or not it's actually going to be like accessible because of this whole thing, I don't know how like much these stories are. So maybe
wine or not.
I'm going to take a look at it. Fantastic Four 2 comes out next week. I'll be reading that digitally. I don't know if I'll read this Giant Size X-Men #2. I know there's a good cover for it, but I'm not sure if I'll be reading it. Maybe the Predator one that you mentioned. Spider-Man Wolverine #4 for sure. Looking forward to that. And then, yeah, I guess for the sake of what's going on with the Ultimate Universe, I might read Ultimate Spider-Man Incursion #3. Ultimates 15, I'll read. I'm not picking it up anymore. And yeah, I don't know about X-Men 20. We'll see. Yeah, that's about it, though. Not a big week, like Chris mentioned as well. Like, same with him. I have a small list, so we'll see. All right, Chris, your favorite book of the week?
A lot in the running. There's the Daredevil. There's Venom. There's ASM. What else? Even Ultimate Wolverine. But I got to give it to Venom.
Wow.
I just love that. I love watching them fucking lower the boom.
I love that moment as well. Yeah, I agree with you. And that and Spider-Man were in the running for me this week, but I got to give it to Daredevil Cold Day and Hell. I mean, I not only just because I gave it a 5, I just think they stuck the landing, and this is probably my favorite miniseries of the year so far. I loved every single issue of this. I probably gave every single issue of this my favorite on the show. I might have to go back and check on the second one. I know I gave it to the first, which I also gave a 5 to. I know I gave it to this one. I'll have to check the records on the second one, but either way, this was excellent the whole way through. I loved this series. Just through the lens of like a Batman Dark Knight type story where he's old and like, messed up, and he's his one last hurrah type of like story kind of here. So I wish they did this more. Like these old man kind of stories that they do with these future characters, they work for a reason, because we don't get to see these stories because continuity wise, like these
characters keep everybody the same age for freaking 50 years.
Exactly. So, and also it's good because they don't overdo them as well. Like if we got one of these every year, I don't know how I'd feel then, but yeah, but this is good every once in a while to kind of like to kind of tell us a story for something that will never see in regular comics, right? Like this will never be done, in the sense that it will never reach the point where they're old, right? Like Chris has said there. So yeah, I like it. I like these kind of things. Old Man Logan, like all those things. I dig that stuff a lot. So that's exactly it. This is definitely in that corner of Old Man Logan, Dark Knight Returns, like all that kind of stuff, right? So I dug this a lot. So good stuff. All right, that's going to do it for this week, though. We'll see you guys next week, as always, for another great week of comics. I think we'll be getting into maybe some con conversation next week, because the Fan Expo is the following week after that.
Fan Expo is for sure.
Yeah, so we'll have to give you a kind of recap of that once that occurs as well. I'll have to hear what happened. Any interesting stories from there? Well, we're hitting the pavement, Chris. We're gonna have to get the word out of Comic Shop Talk to these creators. Hey, you want to come on our podcast? No.
We're going to wear a little press pass or something.
Yeah.
Anything to say about let's see, who we talking to? Oh, that the Wolverine guy, the Ultimate Wolverine. So what's happening at the end, Ultimate Wolverine? Anything to say? Independent journalists.
Yeah, he just replies in Italian. That's great.
Buongiorno. Spaghetti.
Hey, you want to come as a guest on our podcast? No. All right, then. No problem. See you later.
I'll send you the link anyways.
All right, guys. We're going to see you next week then for all that good stuff. And thanks to Chris as always. And all right, later, guys.
Cheers.